Black twin sisters are removed from VIP seat for a white passenger. Soon after, the entire crew is, have you ever seen discomfort spread across a room? Only with the presence of two children? Two black girls. Silent. Smart. Invisible. Or rather, invisible until they bother. Ayla and Luma were only 10 years old, hair braided with lilac ribbons, attentive eyes, and a white envelope pressed against his chest. On the badge hanging around his neck, a word prominently, unaccompanied minors. They didn't cry, they didn't speak, they just waited, at gate 12, at the most luxurious airport in the country. But for some reason, that silence bothered. Passengers whispered, "Are you lost? Was it a mistake? They don't look like they're on this flight." And why? Why did two black children, well-dressed with documents in their hands, bother so much? Maybe it was the contrast. Maybe it was the idea that this place is not for them. Or maybe it was just racism disguised as concern. It was then that she appeared, the supervisor. Blonde, flawless. Name on badge, Karen Wickfield. Her heels jingled, with arrogance until she stopped in front of the girls. Girls, where are those responsible? "We have the tickets and the badge," Ayla said shyly, holding up the envelope. Karen didn't even look. He just let out a cynical smile. Weird. "This area is for platinum boarding. Are you sure you're at the right gate?" The question was not by protocol. It was by trial, and it wasn't the words that weighed heavily. It was the tone. It was the way she looked at them, as if they couldn't belong there. As if every second there was a mistake to be corrected. And now I ask you, if they were two white girls with blue eyes with the same badges, would anyone have questioned it? Would they have been called lost? Or would they be greeted with a smile and a hot chocolate? As Karen walked away to check the system, a security guard was discreetly called. And there, in that crowded lobby, the girls continued, quiet. But something was about to happen. Someone was watching everything and, it wasn't just you. Have you ever wondered how a humiliation begins? She never arrives screaming. It starts slowly. With looks, with silences that cut, with heavy steps that approach when no one expects it. And when Ayla and Luma saw the security guard approaching, their eyes already knew. Even without understanding why, they knew. "Can you accompany us, please?" said the man in a cold, automatic voice. Karen was close behind, arms crossed, as if she had discovered a flaw in the system and was proud to have corrected it. "But our names are on the list," whispered Luma, squeezing the envelope. "We have the badge," added Ayla, almost voiceless. But there, the truth didn't matter. The badge didn't matter. The tickets didn't matter. The only thing that seemed to matter, it was the place where they were, and where in the supervisor's mind they shouldn't be. The VIP area fell silent. A white woman lowered her sunglasses. A man in a suit opened the camera of his cell phone, not to defend, but to record the curious, unforeseen event. The escort began, slow, one ahead, another one behind, without handcuffs but with shame. No screams but with trapped tears that no one saw. And the cruelest, there was no scandal. The deepest humiliation is the one that happens in silence, because everyone thinks you deserved it. They were taken to a small room with white walls and two blue chairs. There, no one explained anything. No one apologized. They just said, "You're going to stay here until we understand where the mistake lies." But the mistake, it wasn't in the system. The mistake was in the eyes of those who never wanted to see. And you, if you were there, would he have said anything? Would he have defended it? Or would he have looked away as everyone else in that terminal did? But on that day, someone didn't deflect it. Someone was recording. And that story was about to leak out to the world. Sometimes justice wears low heels and a red hat. She doesn't scream. It does not invade. She just observes, and it waits for the right moment to act. While Ayla and Luma sat in that little white room, their eyes lowered and their hearts still trying to understand what they had done wrong. Someone on the other side of the lobby was deciding that he wasn't going to let this go. She was there all the time, sitting by the window, calmly drinking tea, a middle-aged white woman, discreet, elegant, steady gaze, red hat, a detail impossible to forget. She saw it all, every step, every sentence, every expression on Supervisor Karen's face, and every silent tear that the girls swallowed with dignity. But what she did, it was even more powerful than confronting at the moment. She recorded it. Yes, she recorded everything, with steady hands and the cell phone pointed at chest height, quietly, without warning, like someone who had seen that before. And he knew that the world needed to see it again. And when Ayla and Luma were taken away by security, she stood up. She walked slowly to where they were sitting before. He looked around, and he said firmly, almost like a whisper full of pain, "If they were white children, would that have happened?" An uncomfortable silence fell among the passengers. She did not wait for a response. He took out his cell phone. He wrote a short caption and posted the video. 2 hours later, it was everywhere. No Twitter, on Instagram. We WhatsApp groups, on local television, and what was once just a small airport misunderstanding, now it was a national scandal. But what no one knew, it was that the man who most needed to see that video, I was already seeing in a black car, with the tinted windows. And he wasn't just the girl's father. He was the owner of all that. Sometimes, the silence before the storm, it's just the sound of someone powerful about to get up from his chair. At the same moment that the video of the twins began to explode on the networks, a black car approached the airline's main gates. Dark windows, engine, slowly detached, and within it, a man watched. The video played for the third time on his cell phone, but it wasn't just a father watching his daughters being humiliated. He was a CEO, the founder, the largest shareholder of the company that had just become the face of national. Shame, Marcus Dean, black man, discreet, elegant, trained eye to read people and systems. He knew how the world worked, and now to see his daughters treated as infiltrators within the empire he built with his own hands, it wasn't just painful. It was unforgivable. He didn't call anyone. He didn't schedule anything. He just got out of the car. He entered with his executive badge, and when the security guard stopped him, he only showed the cell phone screen with the video. The security guard swallowed, and he retreated. Marcus came in, quiet, lethal, the kind of silence that leaves executives trembling before they even hear the voice. At the reception of the administrative headquarters, he pointed upwards. "I want everyone on the board in the crisis room now." The receptionist hesitated. "Sorry, sir. Who should I write down how?" He stopped. He turned slowly, and for the first time he spoke out loud. "My name is Marcus Dean. I am the CEO of this company, and the girls in that video, they are my daughters." And at that moment, the floor of the building seemed to shake, not by words, but because no one expected power to come from there. No one thought that this man, invisible to prejudiced eyes, he was the most important man in that place. And now, the question was another: how many more like him have been ignored on their own thrones? The clock was 11:47 a.m. The meeting was about to begin, but it would not be a meeting like the others. It would be a sentence. Sometimes the most important meeting of your life. There is no coffee, no spreadsheet. Shame on you. It is true. And there is a man who is tired of seeing his daughters being treated as a mistake. Crisis room, closed curtain, rectangular table, illustrious names, brilliant resumes. But no one there could hold their own gaze. Because Marcus Dean, the company's CEO, was standing, with the video paused on the screen, frame by frame. He didn't scream, he did not threaten, he didn't need to. Every pause he made between lines was a silent punch in the chest of everyone there. "Here." He pointed with the control. "They are showing the ticket. Here." He clicked again. "Security takes them away without explanation. And here." He looked over his glasses, staring across the room. You were in your positions, building campaigns about diversity. Silence. A director dropped his pen. One manager lowered her head. Karen, the supervisor, trembled on the screen, immortalized as a symbol of contempt. And then came the phrase that no one in that room would ever forget. These girls you humiliated. They are my daughters, and you didn't know, because they never thought that someone like me could be behind all of this. The room was not breathing, not a noise, only the projection of the video rotating, like a cruel mirror in front of executives who thought they were untouchable. Today, you didn't make a mistake with passengers. You have wronged the moral basis of this company, and now they will understand what it means to answer for this. No one argued. No one tried to justify it, because there was no more room for excuses. And outside at that same time, the employees already knew. The leaked video had a new excerpt. The caption now read, "They were not lost." Who was? It was the system. There are times when a man doesn't speak as a CEO. He speaks like a father, like someone who saw too much. He swallowed too much, and he decided that now it is the world that will swallow the truth. Marcus Dean didn't tremble. He didn't read any papers. He spoke with the calm of someone who had already made the decision even before the meeting began. Today, I'm not just going to punish people. I'm going to dismantle a behavior and rebuild this company on something it never fully had: respect. One of the directors tried to stammer. Mr. Dean, perhaps an official statement, a review of conduct. Marcus raised his arm. A gesture, immediate silence. No. What happened to my daughters? It cannot be fixed with a note. It is resolved with consequence and courage. And then he listed, as if announcing a new time. Immediate dismissal of Karen Wickfield and any employee who has ignored, allowed, or relativized what happened. 2. Total suspension of the company's flights for 48 hours, not as a punishment, but as a period of ethical reconstruction. Creation of the Flor de Asa program, a new care protocol for unaccompanied children with a focus on care, visibility, and dignity, especially those that the system insists on not seeing. The room seemed not to believe it. It's not just about Ayla and Luma, he said. It's about every child who has ever been diminished into silence, that has already been looked at as if it did not belong. Today you will be smaller in front of them, and there, in front of the elite of a multi-billion-dollar company, the group's largest shareholder turned the world upside down. Not for the money, but for the power to say, enough. And you know what's more powerful? Ayla and Luma. They still didn't know anything. While the internet boiled and the newspapers made headlines, the two continued to sit, waiting, only with an envelope on his lap. It's a truth about to change everything. Sometimes, justice does not scream. She walks, with small steps, hand in hand, with ribbon bows in her hair and eyes that now everyone sees. 2 weeks after the scandal, the airport lounge was no longer the same. Neither did the employees, nor the looks. There was something new in the air, respect mixed with shame, and the silent expectation of a reparation. The line was full. Journalists with cameras ready, employees with clean badges, forced smiles, and attentive eyes. At the entrance, a simple rug, without ostentation, just a banner with 3 words: Flor de Asa starts here. And then they appeared, Ayla and Luma, with yellow dresses, and the same envelope they carried on the day they were discredited. But now, they were not invisible. They were in the center, next to his father, who walked behind, in silence, with teary eyes. The girls walked to the stage set up for the launch of the program, and there nothing was said by them. They just stared, for the lights, for the cameras, and for Karen, who was now among the passengers, in the common queue, no badge, no jump. With his face half hidden, and the weight of repentance visible in the eyes, Ayla shook her sister's hand. Luma looked at the audience, and he said in the calmest voice in the world, "Now, everyone sees us." The lobby applauded, not with noise, but with respect, as if that moment wasn't just theirs, but of all the children who were once silenced without deserving it. The image of them walking back, smiling shyly, made the front pages of the newspapers, on the company's bulletin boards, on social networks. But more than that, it ended up in the consciousness of an entire country. There are stories that end with applause, other with changes. And that morning, in the main hall of the airport, was not the end. It was the beginning of a new culture, of a consciousness that could no longer be put to sleep. The company launched a national campaign. Simple, direct, unforgettable. A billboard in each terminal, on the buses, in the elevators of the central offices. The photo, Ayla and Luma, holding hands, at gate 12. The phrase, "Dignity has no age, nor appearance." It wasn't about marketing anymore. It was about memory. In schools, teachers showed the video as an example of child resistance. In flight attendant training courses, the case of the twins has become a mandatory study. And within the company, a new policy was signed. Unaccompanied children will be met with double the attention and zero judgment. At the closing event of the program, Flor de Asa, Marcus took the stage, not in a suit, but with a simple black t-shirt and the company's logo on the chest. He held the microphone, and for the first time in public, he cried, "I thought building a company would be enough, but my daughters showed me that true power. It is to transform those who have not yet learned to see." And then came the final sentence, the one that made everyone stand up. Being a child should never be a target, but if they are, that at least the whole world can see that they resisted. The lights went down. Ayla and Luma ran to him. They embraced him as one who forgives the world. And for a few seconds, the silence was beautiful, because this time, it was not exclusionary. It was peaceful. And on that day at that airport, the whole of Brazil understood something that should be obvious. One should never underestimate those who carry the truth in their hearts, even if you're only 10 years old. And an envelope in his hands. What if the world treated every child as a seed of the future? How many trees would we have already planted carefully? How many Ayla and Luma were silenced without an audience, without video, without justice? You may never witness anything like this, and if you witness it, it will look away. Or will it be the woman in the red hat? The world doesn't need more spectators. It needs witnesses who do not remain silent, because sometimes all a child needs is that someone just once says, "I see you." If this story touched you, share it as if it were your own, because prejudice doesn't take vacations, and the next Ayla or Luma may be at your gate right now. Leave a comment with the phrase, "I saw the girls." Let's make this phrase echo to the last airport in the world. And if you still believe that being a child shouldn't be a target, prove it now. Shares, spreads, show. Because a story changes a company, but thousands of voices change a system.